Today's topic for discussion is a practical protocol of plant pathology. And today's practical is the study of white rust disease of plants which is caused by albigo candida. The disease is very important. It occurs on several plants of family Cruciferaceae and the causal organism is albigo candida. And during practical, what we have to do here, that is what is the requirement for the practical is, we need classwork material of infected host leaf and needles, brush, blade, slide, cover slip, cotton glue, lactophenol, microscope and blotting paper. These are the requirements for practical purpose. Okay. And what exactly we have to do practically, that is take a infected leaf, observe keenly where the pustules are present. Pustule, it is a sorus or it is a cluster of spore. It is white colored pustule, hence the disease is known as white rust disease. The pustules mostly occur on the lower surface of the leaf. Observe it keenly and take a small piece of the infected leaf and take very thin section through the pustules and select a very thin section and mount in a drop of mixture of cotton glue and lactophenol. And this slide you have to observe under microscope and you have to write all the details of the transverse section of the infected leaf. You can see the mycelium. Mycelium is sinusotic, means that is non-septate mycelium. You can see the intercellular hyphae. Intercellular hyphae means the hyphae which are present between the host cells. And these intercellular hyphae, they produce small knob-like structures which are known as hostoria, and the hostoria are inserted into the host tissue for absorption of the food material. And you can see numerous sporangiophores arise from the hypodermal cushions of the hyphae. That means just below the epidermis of infected leaf, hyphal mats are developed. These hyphal mats produces erect fertile hyphae. Those erect fertile hyphae which are unbranched that are described as sporangiophores. Okay. Initially, a cluster of sporangiophores occur just below the epidermis. Later on, because of the growth pressure, the epidermis get ruptured and the cluster of sporangiophores exposed through the ruptured epidermis of the host plant. And each sporangiophore produces a sporangial chain at its tip in a basipetal succession. Formation of sporangial chain, it is a characteristic feature of albigo candida. Only this pathogen produces chain of conidia, chain of sporangia. Okay. And the production of sporangia is in a basipetal succession. The basal conidium, which is present just above the sporangiophore, it is a younger and older sporangia, they are present at the top of the sporangiophore. It is described as such formation of the sporangia, that is described as basipetal succession. And the sporangia are rounded hyaline structures which are multinucleate. Mature sporangium consists of zoospores, and sometimes the sporangia germinate directly and again they produces a sporangium like a structure at its tip in which zoospores are developed, and these zoospores are released and in presence of the proper host plant they causes disease. Again a white disease appears. But in some species the sporangia they germinate and directly they cause the disease. Okay. And this fungus also reproduce by sexual reproduction. It produces gametes. The sexual reproduction of albigo candida, it is oogamous type of sexual reproduction in which the male gamete is known as antheridium, female gamete is known as ogonium. And after fertilization, oospores are developed In the heavily infected leaf, you can see the globular oospores. And the oospores, it is the product of sexual reproduction in the fungus. And oospores are thick walled, the outer wall is reticulate, and that protects the inner content, and mostly the oospores are brown in color. And these oospores remain in soil for long duration. And the oospores measure about 40 to 50 mu in diameter. Okay, all these things you can see under microscope in the section. And oospores are seen only in the heavily infected leaf, and these heavily infected leaf, they fell off in the soil, again they act as a inoculum potential. This is the classification of the fungus albigo candida. This fungus, it is also known as Cystophus candidus, and it is the member of Phycomycetes. Order is Albuginales, family Albuginaceae, genus Albigo, and species is Candida. Okay, next. This is the infected leaf. See the pustules, white colored pustules on the leaf, and it is the disease of major importance. And to the right side, this is the photograph of transverse section of infected leaf through pustule. The host ruptured epidermis is there, and sporangiophores are seen in the photograph, and sporangia are also shown in the chain form. Next, this is all about practical of albigo candida. This is the practical of undergraduate level, and this you have to perform. Thank you very much. Save trees, save earth.